No way. You crazy?
No way, fractal Bitcoin. But oh yeah, it is fractal Bitcoin.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get into today's Bitcoin news. It's bloody. Second day in a row, we got major blood, but this is totally normal. It's like literally a 10 or 11% pullback, maybe 12%, whatever. This is very normal, but you know, it's hard for some people because literally yesterday, we were up here at 106,500. And then boom, today we came as low as 95,500. But again, it's totally normal. Volatility is life. This pullback is pretty normal for Bitcoin. We've had 8 of them since October. And here they are. These are just normal pullbacks. This is nothing major. In fact, we might get, during this bull run, like next year, we might get some really major pullbacks, 25%, 30%, 35%. Like those are major. But this, what we're having right now, it's not fun, but it's not major. So everyone relax. Yeah, the Bitcoin mining difficulty hit another all-time high. That's interesting. That bodes well for the network. It means it's very strong, and the price always follows the hash rate and all that, and the difficulty. So that's good. All right, let's talk about El Salvador. I don't know what's happening, but let's try to figure it out. El Salvador becomes the first nation in history to unadopt Bitcoin. I guess. I think they had made it mandatory, and now they're just not going to make it mandatory. It's, you can use it if you want. But yeah, after securing $3.3 billion loan from the IMF, El Salvador says it will continue buying Bitcoin, possibly at an accelerated pace. So maybe this is why they're taking the money. Maybe they're just going to buy Bitcoin with it, right? Like a lot of Bitcoin. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't see any. There hasn't been any formal announcement, I don't believe, from Bukele or anybody that says, oh, we're taking this $3.3 billion and we're going to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, whatever. I haven't seen anything. But yeah, and you could see here, Bitcoin Sandy says, oh dear, why take IMF funding? One step forward to ... Bitcoin-related risks are being mitigated. This is a quote. Bitcoin-related risks are being mitigated. Acceptance of Bitcoin by the private sector will be voluntary, and public sector's participation in Bitcoin-related activities will be confined. Okay, again, we don't know exactly what that means. We don't know why they're taking the money. But here's a good article by Aaron Van Weerdum. The IMF just improved El Salvador's Bitcoin law. So this is an interesting take. Like, what are the positives of this? We're going to read it real quick. It's not very long. The IMF yesterday announced they have reached a $1.4 billion loan deal with El Salvador. In return, the Central American country that in 2021 made Bitcoin legal tender had to remove some of its pro-Bitcoin policies. I spent about 3 months in El Salvador around the time the Bitcoin law went into effect. I thought then that it was a positive development for the country. But there were aspects of the law that I strongly disliked. Exactly these aspects are now being removed. Okay, so that's interesting. Most importantly, Salvadoran merchants will no longer be obligated to accept Bitcoin. Great. I don't think Bitcoin should be forced on anyone, nor do I believe Bitcoin needs that. Bitcoin is an emergent form of free market money, and adoption should happen voluntarily. In practice, this aspect of the law was barely enforced anyways. I've heard from one relative insider that some of the big fast food chains receive phone calls from the government telling them to comply, which would explain why McDonald's and Wendy's did it. But otherwise, I don't think any merchants got in trouble for not accepting Bitcoin. Additionally, El Salvador will have to wind down operations of its Chivo wallet. Maybe the software has improved over the years, but in 2021, the wallet was incredibly buggy. The open source community and free market are much more capable of building such tools. Good riddance. That said, it is slightly disappointing that Salvadoran citizens won't be able to pay tax in Bitcoin anymore, though again, I doubt many did. This is probably little more than a nuisance, however. Now, Bitcoin accepting merchants need to sell some of their Bitcoin for US dollars before paying the taxman. To succeed, Bitcoin benefits from an equal playing field. El Salvador still goes a long way to offer just that. So yeah, you could see it's not all bad. They're not just completely bending the knee and, getting back in bed with the IMF 100%. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. All right, subscribe to the channel because, and let's get into some US dollar government nonsense for context, because Bitcoin solves these issues, right? First of all, I was a little bit surprised to see this post from Nostr. Many are angry with my criticism of the current corrupt situation in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Right now, after Saylor and BlackRock mentioned in a video that the finite issuance of 21 million is not guaranteed, many are talking about a possible fork, a matter that used to be sacrilege. But guess where most miners will go in a fork case? Of course, where there is liquidity and money. You can always do a fork, but not the best option will win, but the one with the most money. And those are the bankers. So it's happened before. Bitcoin has been forked because by the way, you can copy the Bitcoin code. You can fork it yourself if you want to. Anyone can. But it's been forked before. And so, yeah, but Saylor and BlackRock mentioning that the finite issuance of 21 million is not guaranteed. I remember the way BlackRock put it, it was almost like a footnote, almost like I won't say a technical detail, but it wasn't like a major point. But anyway, Bitcoin Sandy says, I don't disagree that Bitcoin will be forked at some point. It's inevitable where a few stack these amounts. Greed takes over. Yeah, so anyway, look, we don't know the future with Bitcoin, but it's become so big and so strong. I don't think anything's in jeopardy. What do you think? I know some people they'll be so afraid of this, right? They'll be like, oh my God, they're going to fork Bitcoin and ruin it. And I mean, look, anything's possible, but I'm wondering what you think. So comment below. And yeah, this is hilarious here. This is a reporter talking to some politician. But look at this. CNN says, people look at the performance of Congress and say, why should we give them more money? And then the senator says, what about the media? Half of your listeners are not there anymore, and you're still getting the same paycheck. And so Radar posts, you're both useless. Yes, these people are working together. The corporate media, the mainstream media, and also people in the government. It's a big scam, and it's just a funny game they're playing, right? And anyway, Bitcoin solves a lot of this because once people have to be sort of accountable for their work, they're not going to waste money. Because if you have Bitcoin and you're like, oh, I can just mess around and waste a bunch of Bitcoin, I can do this, you'll be like, no, I'm not going to waste a bunch of Bitcoin, right? You're going to be like, no, I need to keep my Bitcoin. And the actions I take every day need to be good actions. And I really want to earn more Bitcoin, so you have to do good things. So that's how Bitcoin encourages good things and proper spending and all that. So yeah, that didn't take long, guys. Breaking: California governor declares a state of emergency over the bird flu. Yeah, here's Newsom declaring state of emergency over the bird flu, calling it a proactive action. What a bunch of scammers, man. Oh, God, proactive action. They're just trying to stoke fear and uncertainty and doubt. It's just, usually this means the government's going to do something big and they need a distraction. So they'll start doing all this garbage. Same thing that they did 4 years ago with the, whatever pandemic that was, right? Just, it's all nonsense. It's pretty much all fake. I saw another story. It was like, someone came down with the bird flu, and it's like, it's literally probably one case, and it's probably not even bird flu, right? Because the tests that these idiots do, they're always wrong. Like, remember the COVID tests? Retarded. All right, Federal Reserve Chair Powell says that the Fed is not allowed to own Bitcoin. Yeah, he said that because someone asked him, will the Fed ever buy Bitcoin? And he basically said, no, the Fed is not allowed to own Bitcoin. But guess what? They weren't allowed to own corporate bonds before COVID either. So rules change. And look, I'm not saying I want the Fed to own Bitcoin. But there are people who want governments to sort of stockpile Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And look, everyone can buy Bitcoin. You can't stop anyone from buying Bitcoin, right? So anyway, I'm just reporting the news, guys. I don't want them to, of course. I don't even want governments to be involved. I want governments to be out of the monetary system and let the people use Bitcoin. That's what I want. Unfortunately, we're mired down in this ridiculous authoritarian government structure, and everything is mired in everything. It's horrible. Anyway, perception whispers a story. Reality tells us the truth. Bitcoin is not equal to crypto. And can you see this? Yeah, let me move my head. But yeah, so you see on the left, perception is that, Bitcoin is part of crypto and then fiat is separate. But if you look on the right, the reality is there's Bitcoin and then there's fiat, and within fiat is crypto. It's part of the same world. It's part of the same fiat world. Crypto is fiat in terms of like using the word fiat as an adjective. So Bitcoin stands alone. There's nothing like it. It's not, one of the coins in crypto. No, it's not. It's much, much bigger than that. It's much more important than that. And the sooner you realize that, the better. So yeah, this is Nostr. We did it. 4 million zaps. Derek Ross is telling us here, 4 million zaps. Nostr's been around for about 3 years maybe? Well, it depends when you start counting, I guess. Maybe 3.5 technically, but it's really only been about 2 years. I think it was December of 2022, just about 2 years ago exactly, where the first really major influx of people came in. And so you could say Nostr's 2 years old, but it was around before that, but it was very small. And yeah, take it daily, guys. Your Bitcoin pill and your Nostr pill. And here, have a candy cane for the holidays. A Bitcoin candy cane. A Bitcoin Nostr cane. Whatever. And here, guys, the aliens are flying Trump flags and U.S. Government flags. I thought this was funny. All right, don't forget, tomorrow, Friday at 4 p.m., we do the Bitcoin Amigos live stream. Definitely subscribe to the Bitcoin Amigos channel. It's a show I do with Jor from 88 Sats Radio and Jerry from Jerry Loves Freedom. Great guys. We started a great new show. You could see we're only at 233 subscribers, but we just started. It's a great show. It's so much fun. And I have at least one new song to debut tomorrow. Because if you didn't know, I've been making songs for the Bitcoin Amigos. We have a whole album. But anyway, there's a new song for tomorrow, so make sure you join us for the Friday, the Bangin' Friday show. That's what we call it, Bitcoin Amigos. And this is our website, fractalbitcoin.com. Everything we do is here, including donate if you want to support me. I really appreciate you guys supporting me because you're my only support. If it wasn't for you, well, let's not get into that. But so that's it for the news. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I just want to say, as we move forward and in this bull run, we are going to have days like this. We're going to have multiple days in a row like this. Everyone in the corporate media or the mainstream media is going to say, oh, Bitcoin's dead, everything. But you just got to hold on, guys. The next 10 months, at least 10 to 12 months, we're going to be going that motion. We're going to be going way up. So little pullbacks, don't go crazy. In fact, they're really opportunities to stack more sats, and this is not financial advice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, not financial advice. But that's it, guys. I appreciate you being with me on this journey of studying Bitcoin, learning about Bitcoin every day, because you know what you're really doing is you're building your own prosperous future. And the great thing is we're building it together, all of us. It's wonderful. So thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's Bitcoin news video and the Bitcoin Amigos live stream. All right. See ya.